Howdy, I'm Kahnda, and I'm back with some more Minecraft. We've got a road to build, so let's get into it. So last time, I started working on this village that I set out on building from the ground up. We've got the fence in place, and throughout this video you'll get to see it start turning green. But for the roads, we have to figure out where they should go, how curvy they should be, how many spots for buildings I'm thinking about including. There's apparently a whole lot to think about when designing roads. I have some places along the fence that have larger openings between pillars, so I'm intending for these to be the entrances to the village, to be designed later. And this initial road needs to run between them to connect those entrances. Oh yeah, I should also warn you again that there are going to be some, hallucinations like last time. I'm still figuring out how to work the flashback mod with the other mods I use. It's hard planning out roads, though. First, I have the issue where I try to meet the two that I laid out, except the outside of one ended up connected to the inside of the other. Look at that, all tangled up. And then I had to figure out how to make the width of the road pretty even all the way around. I don't know why this process just does not make any sense in my head. I can't visualize it. I first tried going around and adding one more row at a time, which really shouldn't be that difficult, right? It's just one more block for each block I already placed. But then I got to the third row and I started kind of losing track of how I was doing this, so I made it to the end of that row and decided to try a different technique. I tried to go around and make them all 8 wide, I believe, or 7? Probably 8. Yeah. Going one by one throughout the path shape that I'd made. But the curves were quite thin in a way that I didn't really think looked quite right, so I had to do something else. I tried to follow along the same path for the outside of it, with all the zigzags and curves. I think this technique might have confused me the most, which... can you really blame me? I messed up where some of the path blocks were, and it was just all downhill from there. So I just filled in what I had done already. I thought it might be that the diagonals need to be taken into account, so I tried to make it so that each diagonal was 8 blocks across instead. But I think I was distracted while doing this or something, so I abandoned the idea early, but trust me, we'll be coming back to it later. This is where I decided to just take creative liberties and go a bit willy-nilly trying to make some sort of road out of this path-making stuff. And then I finally figured out that you can use that diagonal technique, except you only use it on the curves, and then connect between. This seems to make it so that the curves stay filled out, but the rest of the road will also look smooth, I think. Did I follow it exactly the whole time? There's really no telling, but I tried. Armed with this new technique, it's time to finally get that initial road in place so we can get to the rest of the project. I sketched out an idea for how I wanted the roads to look in paint, although this did technically happen part of the way through the plan already. But with that plan now in place, let's get this show on the road. Pun intended. The song playing is called Web Weaver's Dance, by the way. I thought it was a fun name for a song to use since it feels like weaving my own web with this design. And with everything in place, it's time to start gathering the materials needed to add the color and texture and such. As per usual, my building block of choice, blackstone. And we need a whole lot of it for this, so to the nether we go! I did the normal mining I used to do, searching for pockets of it in the netherite tunnels I used ages ago. But apparently, you can get a lot of blackstone from trading with piglins. I haven't really traded with them before, so I had no clue. But I've now done it, and I can say they get very angry very quickly. You've got to have plenty of gold to keep them entertained so they don't attack. They also give you so many good items. I can't remember all of them, but I know I got some nice enchanted books that are being saved for future armor if I ever happen to lose mine again. It's hard to keep track of all of the items they give though, so I went back to mining instead. One of my friends on the server mined out this large area underground for his netherite, so I yoinked the blackstone pockets throughout it, which turned out to be a lot of blocks, thank goodness. But I did start using fire resistance potions to protect from any random lava pockets. I didn't record this part because I used a mix of a video tutorial and a Lightmatica schematic, but I built the house that Technoblade and Filza used on the Dream SMP. I'll be making some little adjustments to help make these buildings fit in with the rest of the village, but for now, I'll link the resources I used below for building these. Replacing all of the path blocks with blackstone feels like I'm a painter starting a new painting, filling in the base colors before doing all of the things like shading, highlights, rendering? I'm not an artist, but I have a lot of artist friends, so I hope I'm getting these terms correct. I'm sorry if I butchered it, guys. There's not a whole lot to see with this though, it's just a lot of placing blocks. Oh, but a quick task to do, for old time's sake. Subscribe to Technoblade, y'all. Back to it. I enjoy these top-down camera shots, I think. You can probably tell from this video. There are quite a few of them. Speaking of, let's do a little jump in time and go to a time-lapse, finishing up the base building blocks. Now that we've got the base idea for the road all in place, we've got to make it a bit easier to actually walk on the road. It wouldn't be very nice to have to jump every time I tried to walk around the village, right? The main thing that I planned on using for this was half slabs. I feel like they worked best for the look I had in mind. I did want to sprinkle in the occasional stair though. I think the stair adds a cool look, especially when it's turned into a corner piece. It looks like pieces of the road have been chipped off. For this part of the project, it really was just a whole lot of placing of the same block over and over again. The big thing I had to tackle was the two spots that had a large elevation gain, which would be really difficult to use slabs for. Oh. I'll be right back. You need that door open. Sorry, baby. Here you go. not need the door open? I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Ooh, okay. Possible idea. I need a lot more stairs. Yeah. Aw, hi buddy. It's also pretty fun doing this part because I spend time just running up and down the newly added paths. Time to texture! I played around a bit trying to figure out what blocks I wanted to use for this part. I tested out things like black concrete, cobbled deep slate, even the deep slate tiles. The deep slate stuff ended up being a bit too blue-toned and didn't really match with the color scheme of the rest of the road though, so I had to ditch that idea. I ended up picking out all blackstone variations. The ones of choice were polished blackstone, the blackstone bricks, and some cracked blackstone bricks. I'm pretty happy with that selection, I think. As usual, let's start over here. This is my first time texturing stuff. This is fun. No, not what I meant. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's such a small touch, but it just feels so different. That's a block. Sorry if you can just barely hear the Minecraft music in the background of those clips. I thought it would be fun to have the in-game music, except I completely forgot that it would mean cutting up that music and making it all choppy in post. Oops. Now it's time for the buttons. I like how the road looks already, but I wanted to add this last final touch to act as like rocks and pebbles scattered around, to make it seem more like a road that's been used. I'm really happy with how it all turned out. As far as the video goes, I had some fun figuring out new things like how to include the game audio with the flashback mod clips and stuff. It was only towards the end of the recordings that I decided to actually record my game footage while I did this though. I think next time I'll record game footage from the get-go, and hopefully I'll have some more commentary to include as I'm working through the process. But for now, it's time to reveal the finished road. I'm super happy with how this turned out, so I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see y'all next time.